So today I'm gonna make this little part. It's got a 15-degree taper cut on it, and then we also turn it and counterbore it and drill a hole through it. We turn it so we can thread it in the future with 7/8 14 fine thread, and there's an undercut groove in there. I don't know if you can see that, and that's to see the gasket. It also gives a place for the tap to run into. Let me show you the tooling we use. Also want to show you a lot of uses for some white fingernails polish on the old Southbend. So here's our drill setup, and we got our big drill for the 7/8 14 pipe tap, and then we got a little relief drill just to get our counter bore in there, and then we got a 1/4-inch through hole drill. Got them all marked with some white fingernail polish, and that gives us the depths that we're going to. We're just drilling to the white marks on the thing. This is just coming through. So we got the gang drill we're using. Then we got our internal counter bore tool. Let's put the little counter bore inside of it, plus it squares off the bottom. And we got our turning tool, and this turning tool is cut 45 on the back side, 60-degree on the front side, to put the chamfer on this side, and then we cut it off with that. Let me show you the setup. So another thing we do with that white fingernail polish is we paint our table moving wheel. We paint it all up with white fingernail polish, and the reason we use that is because it sticks right on there. And then we can mark our positions with a Sharpie. So, when we make the part, we got a number of positions we want to go to, and we want to go to them at the same time. So we're going to cut it off at the positive stop, but then we're going to turn it at T. So we want to move it to there to turn it at T, and then when we groove it, we're going to groove it at the red G, and then we make the groove. Make the groove a little wider by moving it to G2. That's another use for the white fingernail polish. And then lastly, we used white fingernail polish to make a nice sharp line on our cross feed, because we're going to be turning the 15-degree angle with this, and we want to get it back in the same position. So we use this line and the 0, on the dial to get it back to where it started. And then our cross feed dial, we just mark it with the Sharpie as we normally do. You got your drill center lines and your turn depth and your groove depth. Just mark it with a Sharpie. You don't need the fingernail polish for that. Let me show you how it works. So the first thing you can do to make the part is, first we got to stick it out of the chuck. We're using a 6-foot piece of 1-inch 303 stainless steel with our little stick out gauge. We just shove it out till it's out to the stick out, and then we tighten it up. And once it's tightened up, we start out with our cutoff tool, cutoff 45 tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a trench in it at the positive stop, so we can run our 15-degree taper into it. Let me show you how that works. Okay, so to get started, we fire the guy up, and we move the cutter down to the positive stop, bring a little coolant out on the part, and then we run the cutoff tool in. We got a mark on that cross feed for where we want to stop that. It's right there, and we back it out. And then next, we shove it out of the way, take out that tool, and put in our turning tool. Now that tool, we come back almost to the groove, and then we're going to line that up on T. So that's where we're going to make that turn. So with that lined up, put some coolant on that, and then we run it in to our T1 mark on our cross feed, and then we start feeding it across. This we're feeding by hand, and we're going to feed that cutter right into that trench that we made with the cutoff tool. know you're there. And the little tip pops off. Now you pull it back, get the tool out of the way. And then this is why we have the mark on the cross feed, because we're going to run it back. And then to it, and back to 0, so we know our cross feed's now back in the same spot. And then our part right now has the 15-degree taper, and it's ready to cut off, and next we're going to drill it. And so with that done, now we're going to switch over to our gang drill. We're going to run that out to the center. Turn the lathe down just a little bit for the big drill. And we run that to the CL on a cross slide. Hit the engage lever and then bring our juice up to it. And again, we're just drilling to the line on the drill. If that line hits metal, it's done. And we do 10 cranks to the next drill. And we turn the speed up. This drill goes in. Just a short relief hole to the line. It's done. And we give it 10 more cranks to the 1/4-inch drill. Stuff him in, juice on it, and drill that one in. That one's going through a little bit, so when we cut it off, the next piece is spotted up for the drill, so we don't have to use any center drills. Once that's in, we back it out, and then it's just a bunch of cranking to get it back to the end. Couple cranks past center, push the coolant down, take out the gang drill. Now we're doing the internal chamfer. That one we run in. And again, we're going to use the mark on the dial. We're going to the red mark to start. There we're there. And that gets the chamfer in the hole, or the counterbore in the hole. Put a little juice on it, and we back it into the part. And once that gets to the bottom, and then we walk it out about 30 thousandths to make that groove a little longer. And that's it. You back it out, take it out of there, and you're back to your cutoff tool. And we back that tool out, run it down to the positive stop, put a little juice on it, and go in there and cut it off. Before we roll back, we want to pop it out just a hair, run it in, and put a 45 on the next part. Now that's how it runs slow. Let me show you how it runs in time. So here's a guy in real speed. Get it out of the way, loosen it up, stick it out. Tighten it up. Fire it up. Get down to positive stop. Juice in there. Turn tool. Lower that T on the wheel. Go in. Throw the feed juice on it. Feed that across. It's gonna pop in a minute. And now you roll the crank back. Hand grill. Crack my stuff. Move it to the center. Slow it down. Need juice. Playing with the juice is something to do while it's drilling. To the line, 10 cranks, speed it up. Engage it. Shorten the cut. 10 cranks. Go to the line, back it out, cranks. Counterboard. Go to the line on the wheel. Juice on things. Two cranks. We'll go to wire. Pop it out. Cut off tool. Juice. Pop it out. Wait for the next spark. Out of the way. And I'll stick it out. It's ready to go again. Shut that off. There's our part. You see it's down in there. 15-degree chamfer on the end. With a counter bore on the bottom. Thanks.